Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. So it's that time again. It's our usual Saturday night live. Let's see who comes in to join us. I hope everyone's had a good week this week and it's been a productive day in the garden. We've had a really busy day. We've had a really big couple of weeks actually, but today's been quite hectic. We've been out. Well, I've been out in the freezing rain, trying to get my my drainage ditch to work properly. So that's been lots of fun. Oh, my head was cold when I came in. It was really, really cold. I had my head, I had a hat on, a big woolly hat, and then a big hoodie over the top, wrapped up, my head tied up nice and warm. But I came in with a freezing cold head, absolutely freezing. But yeah, it wasn't the most pleasant of things. Real rain, freezing rain beating down. Let's see who's coming. Sean, how are you doing, mate? Thank you very much for coming in. Hope you're keeping well. How are your chili plants? Have they started perking up now after the postage, and have they settled in okay? So if you didn't know, I mean, we grow loads and loads of chilies. If you don't already know, we grow loads of chilies. Every year I grow spares. I grow loads of spares, and whoever wants them, we can send some out to people. We've probably got about 20 different varieties for sale. But quite a few of them are actually sold out. We've got quite a few of the Nagas left because I sold extra ones of them, but the spaghettis are sold out. Some of the Naga varieties have sold out. Some of the Jolokias have sold out as well. But yeah, there's a fair few that we've still got. Derek, how are you doing, mate? Thank you very much for coming in. Hope you're keeping well. Hope all's good with you. What has everyone been up to? Have you had a productive day in the garden? Have you had if you've not been working this week, have you had a good week in the garden? I mean, it's been raining like crazy this last week over here. Quite a lot of the soil in the garden's sodden. It's quite soggy, so it's not been brilliant. Yeah, they're fine except the Daniel Morridge, which is oh no way. Oh, that's a shame. That's a real shame because they're quite a small chili. So they grow quite small, but they grow extremely hot. Justine, how are you doing? Thank you very much for coming in. Hi, family. I'm wondering who that is, but thanks very much for coming in. Hope you're keeping well. Trying to stay dry and manage to fall over and crack. Oh, no way. Have you broken the rib then? Derek, are you in a lot of pain at the moment? Because that's quite nasty, that. Iki, assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. Thanks very much for coming in. Hope you're keeping well. Yeah, like I was saying, I mean, it's like the title of this video says, it's our TV debut this week. So we're gonna be on TV for the first. Well, it's not the first time, but it's the first time that a show is gonna feature us as a credible, reputable gardener. And we were on last year, not last year, the year before last. We were on Gardener's World. But that was more like, I mean, it was during the first lockdown when we were on Gardener's World, and the way they pitched it to us was we'd be helping out, and they'd use quite a lot of our footage, and then they ended up using about a 2-minute clip of me potting up some plants with my daughter, which was okay. I mean, the quality of the video as well wasn't brilliant. The way it was sent over, the filming that we did wasn't brilliant. It was sent over as a practice run, and they ended up using that actual footage. But it was a good moment for us to be on Gardener's World, and it's a nice little. It's always going to be. What's that? It's always going to be something. One of those bucket list items. Yeah, we were on Gardener's World, so that's a nice one. So let's see what else everyone's saying. Yeah, it just started drooping, then the next morning it was completely, oh mate. So Derek, no treatment, 2 to 3 months to cure. Oh Derek, just take it. I mean, can you get up and about, or are you quite bad? Some of the passion fruit seeds came up, and the cactus. I done my summer cabbage seeds today. Fantastic. See, I put some gourds and stuff into the propagator, so I'm gonna start getting them started slowly over the next few days, and then in a couple of weeks I'll go all out, get most of them sowed. At the moment, I'm just sowing a few, just as testers to see how things are going, how my germination rates are, and then in a couple of weeks, then I'll just go all out and get them all going, and it'll just be a little bit easier to get them going, to keep them alive once we've got more sun, so they don't get super leggy. I mean, last year we got a little bit excited and sowed them mid-February, and the plants were probably 5 foot tall before we even planted them out, and that was it's a hard work managing plants when they're that sort of size, and you're pulling them in and out of the house, trying to harden them off. Yeah, it does get quite difficult to do that. Phil, how are you doing? Thank you very much for coming in. Hope everything's good with you. All my starts up and running. Peppers, tomatoes, onions, broccoli, fantastic. I've had a bit of a mare with kale this year. I mean, onions have been particularly bad for me this year. Every year there's something that goes wrong, but onions has been, one of those plants that's been always so easy to grow. You plant them and they just romp away without any trouble. And this year, for some reason, onions has been really, really difficult to get going. Yeah, I sowed them like I normally do in December in a cold greenhouse, and in my normal mushroom trays, normally sow them like that, and then they get going nice and steady, and they start coming on through the year, through the next couple of months before we plant them into the garden. But in some of my trays, I've only had 1 or 2 seeds germinate, and I just can't make sense of it. Really poor germination rates this year. So last year, the year before, I'd completely moved away from using onion sets, and I'm gonna have to go back to using. I'm gonna have to go back to using onion sets again this year. So it's quite annoying actually, because I wanted to be free from onion sets. Komodo dragon's doing really well. Nice to hear. I want to see this Komodo dragon chili. Heavy rains here in the US Midwest is welcome, but itching to get out there. Are the rains unusual for this time of year, or do you normally get rains at this time of year? Because it's quite usual for us to get heavy rains at now, as long as it starts to settle down in the next 6 weeks or so. 6 weeks, next few weeks, and then in about 6 weeks, if it starts settling down quite nicely, if we have a decent April, then I think we'll be on a good start for a lot of things this year. So gourds are just the seeds. Yeah, I started quite a few different gourd seeds. Well, I put them into the propagator to see how they get on. When should I sow my bottle gourd seeds, do you think? How many seeds have you got, Sean? Because I wouldn't, if you've got a lot of seeds, I might just, this week would be a good idea to sow 1 or 2 to just see how you get on with the germination. But for me, my main sowings for bottle gourds are around mid-March, that sort of time. Mid-March-ish, towards the end of March. It's just because you're not going to really be able to plant them out in the garden until June, so it's a long time to keep them somewhere protected, and they grow massive as well. The plants grow absolutely huge. So Bettina Broadway man, how are you doing? Thank you very much for coming in. Evening all, finally caught my first live. I'm glad you came in. If anyone hasn't hit that like as well, please hit that like as you're coming in. I'd really appreciate it. I've only just sown my onion seeds. Leave later for more. Light usually lasts me all year round. Still using onions and long shallots now. See, we grow a fair amount of onions, but we use a lot of onions. I just don't understand what's happened with my onion seeds this year, because I did a few sowings of them, and the way they've germinated has been so poor. There's about 50, but I only want about 6 plants. So if you want about 6 plants, then I'd sow 2 nowish, or this week, and see how they get germinated, see how you get them germinated, and how they come up okay. If the germination rates, if you get 2 out of 2, then you know the seeds are good. Then I'd save quite a few. Then in a couple of weeks' time, sow them all. Sow your 6 seeds. But if you're only getting 1 out of 2 germinating, then in a couple of weeks' time, you want to sow a few more than what you'd expect, because if your germination rate's not that great with the seed packet or the seeds that you've got, then it's good to have your tester done now. I bought some hyacinth beans. When should I plant them? Any tips on keeping them happy? I've actually sowed a couple of hyacinth beans today. Same thing that I'm doing there is I'm just sowing them as testers. They need warmth. They really do need warmth. Grow them, start them in a couple of weeks' time. Plant 2 to a pot and try and find a nice deep pot. I like using the pot noodle pots. So they're probably about 4 or 5 inches deep. Well, they're a lot deeper than the normal standard pot, and they're not too wide. So I plant 2 beans into one, soak them overnight, plant them into there, keep them somewhere warm with plenty of light for the next month at least, before you sort of mid-May move them into a cold greenhouse after hardening them off. You can keep them in the greenhouse if you want. I grew some in my glass greenhouse, so I grew about 4 plants in my glass greenhouse last year, and we had an amazing harvest. We had one of the best harvests from those plants that we've had from any hyacinth bean. Some of the ones outside did okay, but it just wasn't warm enough to keep them going. I'm growing watermelon this year, by the way. Fantastic. You're gonna have to do them in the greenhouse. You really are gonna have to do them in a polytunnel or something. I think you'll struggle with them outside. Let's see. So rains here in spring are normal, but we've had exceptionally dry winter. Have you got a way? Have you dug some channels or something to try and capture more rain into your soil? That's one of the things that I've done. Is in front of some of my paths, what I do is I'll make small ditches just around my paths, because my garden runs down a hill and my paths run horizontal to that. So the ones between my garden bed, and just before my paths, I'll make about a 4-inch deep, 4-inch wide little channel, and I try and collect as much water into there. And then anything that, if it's too much, it'll just soak into the bed slowly. And it's almost like a mini swale, but it doesn't work on contour. And what I've done at the bottom of one of my bottom beds now is I've dug in quite a deep trench, and it's basically like a drain. So all the water flows down the garden, collects in there, and then slowly soaks into the soil. But I've got that up the bed as well. So all along the front of my main beds, when I build them, I dig them in, and then they stay like a feature that's underground and buried. So once that soil has been disturbed, that even if other stuff falls in, it's never quite the same density, the same compactness. So it tends to soak into that ditch a lot more. and it's a good way of keeping your beds hydrated without having to, water loads. So if you've got deep-rooted plants, so things like gourds and things like cucurbits and stuff like that, they're going to suck water in from deep down. That's a great way of getting the water into the soil and holding it in there. So good dog, I'm starting some onions this week under artificial light. Fantastic. Remind me whereabouts you are. Catherine, how are you doing? Thank you very much for coming in. Hope everything's good with you. How's the weather over where you're at? Have the snows melted and have things started to is spring looking like it's going to come in on time? I'm in hospital. Oh no, he's gonna do it. He's doing it. I ate a flower bowl thinking it was an onion. Not well. I should be out by spring. So yeah, they take up a lot of room in my polytunnel, but I'd like to try it. Try growing. If you've got some space, try growing them up. Do you know, if you've got a small variety of watermelon, something like Sugar Baby, you can try grow. You can potentially grow them vertically, and that might give you a bit more space. For squash, I put a 6-inch pot next to the plant when I transplant it, and I fill that with water. See, that's a good way of watering it. What I'm talking about is trying to get the soil to absorb as much water as possible, and hold on to that water, so it's naturally got water deep down into the soil instead of the water just flowing off the property. So I'm on the south coast, no greenhouse as yet. Oh, you're a lot warmer than we are, though. Yeah, I think you're a lot warmer than we are. It's a big variety from Seeds of Italy. I don't know which. Okay. So if they're a big variety, you might struggle with them. How are the hen and chicks doing? They're doing fantastic. They're doing really good. Well, I say they're doing fantastic. This is one of the nightmares, or one of the most emotional parts of being a chicken keeper. So out of 10 eggs, 3 hatched. And from those 3, I went into the greenhouse yesterday and I found one of the babies dead, which was quite sad. We got 2 that were about a week older, or about 4 days older than this third one. And went into the greenhouse yesterday and found the baby chick dead, which was quite sad. But I mean, this hen that's gone broody, it's a normal red hen, so red hybrid laying hen, and she's not as good as my last broody. Broody was absolutely amazing. She was a little bantam, really vicious little bantam. When she got broody, she wouldn't let you anywhere near her eggs. Like this one, you can go and get clean her out. I found a chick the other day that was stuck outside of her little nest box. It was nighttime, so I picked her up, lifted the chicken's wing up, put the chick under the wing, and she's not even bothered. That I'm messing about with her while she's sitting on eggs. But if I tried that with my last broody, the little bantam, she would have been pecking me all over. But this one is just, she'll sit on the eggs for a bit, and then she'll get up and wander about, and go for a little wander, come back, and then sit down again. My little bantam, she would have sat on those eggs, and she would never have got off those eggs until those eggs had hatched. So that one was absolutely amazing. But this one's just it's a bit of a weird one. Last year this time there was snow on the ground and freezing, but warmer year this year so far. Laura, how are you doing? Thank you very much for coming in. Karen, thanks for making it. Hope you're keeping well. So one of my hens fell off a perch this week. Oh no. Is she okay, or any damage done? Did you get a rat problem with chickens? Reason I will not keep them grow huge here. We do have rats. The first time that I saw a problem with rats was when I started the hotbed in the greenhouse. The rats sort of made a nest in my hotbed over winter, and they stayed in they stayed in the hotbed, and they built like a network of tunnels and stuff underneath the greenhouse. That's the only time that I've seen a problem with the rats. There's a few down. Sometimes you see, the tunnels of rats in my compost piles and stuff like that at the bottom of the garden. But when we moved to this house and the garden was in the mess that it was in, and just after we'd initially done the first cleaning of the garden and got it into some kind of order, you'd see rats walking about in the garden. You'd see rats walking about in the neighborhood. There are rats in the neighborhood, and you can see them, but I haven't seen a rat in the garden for a very long time. But I encourage a lot of stray cats into my garden. So if I see a stray cat, the cat's getting fed. The cat's getting, it's got. We've got little shelters for cats to sleep in the garden. They used to sleep in my old greenhouse until I took that down. But yeah, there's plenty of space. We're very welcoming to cats, and that's one of the big things that keeps our garden free of those kind of pests, rats and mice and stuff. The only problem with cats is they use all your garden beds as litter trays, so you can end up with cat poo everywhere, which is a problem. Do you have any other animals? I've got a dog and a tortoise. I've got some fish. I don't know if they count, but what I want to do is this year, I want to get the kids some rabbits. So I'm just doing a bit of research about some varieties that I can keep, maybe with the chickens. Let's see if I can make a little area in the chicken coop with the rabbits. Then they're going in together. Little Farmer's Farm. Tony, how are you doing, mate? Thank you very much for coming in. Hope you're keeping well. No, she went to the big chicken coop. Oh, no. Okay. Oh, that's sad. That's sad. We had a lot of deaths with our chickens. Yeah, ours were really bad last year. But all our chickens were really old. Nearly all of them are really old. Don't crop me now. How are you doing? Thank you very much for coming in. Hope you're keeping well. How are your chilies getting on? Have they settled in okay? Vom red. I don't know what that means. Okay, whatever that means. I had a rat in my compost bin, Dalek, recently. Placed a chicken wire underneath, no problems since. See, what I sometimes see is, when I go to the compost bin, there's holes in the top. So, like when they've tunneled in from the top, or either they've got in through the bottom and then they've tunneled out the top. But I like the pallet style compost bins. So that's one of the things that we started on today. We started cleaning the bottom of the greenhouse, bottom of the garden, bottom corner. I want to get that whole area emptied out and cleared out, and then we're going to decide on where we're going to put these new compost bins that we're going to build. The other thing that we got done was over this week or last Sunday is we took the old chicken house down. So I've got loads of wood from there, and that's going to be used to build the new composting area. Happy thumb 20 on here. Nice one. If anyone else hasn't hit that like, please hit that like. I hope you all had a good day in the garden. Yeah, I was just telling everyone. So I started off with telling everyone that I was one of those nutters that spent. It was quite cold today, so it was about 3 degrees outside, and we had freezing rain. And I spent that time digging or fixing the flow in my drainage channel, and getting a cover over that, and filling that bed up with wood chip and getting a new bed created. So in the cold, that's what I did, and I came in with a freezing head. So if I'm not feeling well tomorrow, that's why. Tony Cunningham, how are you doing, mate? Thank you very much for coming in. Salim Dorat Safraz. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. How are you doing? Thank you very much for coming in. We've got 3 new chicks on Thursday. Last one of them this morning. Turned over my chicken compost this morning. So many worms in there. The treats for the bird, absolutely fantastic, mate. Absolutely beautiful. Carter's Eat. How are you doing? Now, there's a friend for a very long time. Someone who really helped me out in my early days on YouTube. I'm never going to forget that, but thank you very much for coming in and saying hello as well. Hope everything's going good with you. I check you out on Instagram quite a bit. So yeah, hope everything's good with you. We're trying ginger this year. Gonna follow your method. Is now the right time to get it started off the roots? Absolutely, yeah. Now's perfect. I'm going to be starting some as well this week. So yeah. Have you got heated propagators? If you've got heated propagators, it just makes life a lot easier. I mean, we used to use the old boiler method, so we'd just put it in a plastic container and keep it on a combi boiler. But if you've got heated propagators, then just stick it in a Tupperware tub or a plastic tub or something, and then just put it in the heated propagator, and they'll just sprout in there really easily. Yeah. I've just put my baby Silky up the allotment today, so let's hope it all goes well. Fun. Just how many chickens have you got? Just one on her own, or have you got a little group? Yeah, we see lockdown. Lockdown was one of those things that helped our channel grow, but since the lockdowns ended, things have gone a bit backwards. But hopefully, we'll start picking up. We had a random animal moment today. There was a dead beheaded squirrel in one of our wood chip pile. Quite freaked me out. No idea how it ended up in there. Probably a fox got it or something. Yeah, probably a fox got it. But if you don't mind, just compost it. Do you grow your own turmeric as well? Yes, we do. We grow turmeric, we grow ginger. Yeah, so yeah. I gave up on ginger from last year, but I left it in my heated propagator over winter. Noticed a green stem had grown 2 of them the other day. See that? Yeah, there you go. See, that's what it does. Over in these kind of countries, where it's not as warm during winter, they do go dormant. So they'll look like they died. They'll die back. They'll just hibernate under the soil, and then once it's nice and warm and nice and everything's nice and active again, they'll come back to life. So now, if you've got a heated propagator, get the soil to about 20, 25 degrees Celsius, and they'll start growing nicely again. They'll put those shoots out. Ivan, how are you doing, mate? Thank you very much for coming in. Hope everything's good with you. What's your favorite song? I don't know. I have no idea, mate. Would like to do the turmeric as well for the curcumin compounds in it. Fingers crossed. Tony, use the same method as the ginger. Just get it soaked. Turmeric takes a bit. Turmeric takes a little while longer to get germinated. So turmeric, if ginger germinates within a couple of weeks, turmeric's probably going to take 3 or 4 weeks. It's probably going to take close to double the time to get germinated and get sprouted and get moving. So it is a lot slower, but it will happen. Just persevere with it. After some advice, have you had to deal with your hens picking and pulling each other's feathers out? Check for. It's quite common sometimes because the hens do peck each other, but because some are a bit more dominant than others. So that if it's just that, then I wouldn't worry at all. But do check them for cuts, or check them for infections, or check them for bugs and lice. because if they've got if they're actually pulling each other's feathers out, I mean, if it's just a dominant one bullying a weaker one, then that, I mean, give her a bit of sheltered space, give her some hiding places that might help her. But if it's actual bugs or a wound or something like that that's causing them pecking each other, then you need to find the source and treat that. So if it's something like lice that's causing it, then diatomaceous earth, some kind of lice killer, make sure the coop is cleaned out properly. Those are absolutely essential things that you need to be doing. Alan Hopkinson, snakeheads. How do you predict there will be a new wave of interest in the hobby growing your own as people are getting concerned with energy prices going up? I think there will. The thing is, this is what I was just talking about a few minutes ago with lockdown doing really well. One of the things that we saw was a lot of new gardeners came into the hobby because they couldn't get out, because food prices were going up. They couldn't get access to food. People were quite worried about what's going on. I do think people will be worried about the effects of what's happening in Ukraine, and especially with oil prices going up, with energy prices going up, with the price of food going up generally. Seeing as that since we left the European Union, everything's just, the delivery's not coming in. If you look at the supermarkets, the varieties that they used to have is just not there anymore. The amount that's on the shelves, they've always got fillers in there. So I think that's going to start coming through to people, and people are going to will start worrying about it. Some will get involved. Some will inevitably get involved more in trying to grow their own food. But one thing that sometimes does happen, or I noticed a bit last year, was a lot of people got into it, but then realized how much work it actually took. So they jumped in and then jumped out again. So if you got 10 people getting involved, probably 5 or 6 of them jumped out again because it was too much work, or they realized the return for what they're actually putting in. So I saw a lot of that, but there are quite a few new beginners that have kept up with it. So Lisa's saying, I'm just going to sit here and learn. My husband compost it, but I put it under a bush at the edge of the ground, as you probably. Well, the fox will probably take that and just finish it off now. Then I don't really like songs either. When did you say you should plant ginger? I'd go for now. Now's a great time for ginger. Will shop bought turmeric germinate too? Yes. Make sure you give it when you're soaking it, you're changing the water every probably 6-7 hours, a couple of times at least before you put it into your propagator. That'll just wash away anything that's on the surface, and it'll just break. Once that water, when the root absorbs all that water, it just breaks that dormancy, just encourages it to bud out quite a bit. I save a lot of money. We only spend about £15 a week in food, toiletries, etc. for 3 adults in the house. That's amazing. That's absolutely fantastic. That. Yeah, that's absolutely amazing. That. Got 2 normal hens, 3 pekins, 1 frizzle, and a silky one more. Chick in the house. Oh, that's brilliant, Tony. Where'd you get them from? I've been used to cocoa soil, perlite, fish blood and bone mix with some chicken pellets and some Epsom salts as potting mix. First time will this works. Epsom salt is a good way of boosting magnesium into the plant really quickly. The thing about Epsom salt is soils aren't normally deficient of magnesium. So if you're using balanced soils and you're using balanced compost, soils normally aren't deficient of magnesium. One of the reasons that causes a deficiency of magnesium in the plant is either a lack of calcium or a lack of or the wrong pH in the soil. So if the pH is off, then you can boost it with magnesium sulfate, or and try and boost the magnesium in the plant. But that's like giving it a rush dose, but your real problem is fixing that pH, or trying to get some more calcium in there. And if you're using things like lime, for example, lime is not 100% pure calcium. Yeah, so it's got other minerals mixed into it as well. So if you're using something like that, you'll be adding magnesium to it anyway. So if you're worried about that if you're worried about magnesium deficiencies, check your pH and worry about that more than anything else. Chicken pellets full of nitrogen, really good to get the green growth going. Blood and bone, it's a good balanced fertilizer, but as a Muslim, I don't use fish blood and bone because of the fact that it contains blood and bone, and you don't know where that blood and bone's coming from, whether it's cow, whether it's pig, whether it's whatever it is. So I stay away from that. So food prices will rocket because Russia also major supplier of fertilizer. Yeah, I mean there's that. There's Brexit. Brexit's caused a massive impact already. Brexit's going to continue to cause an impact. There's Russia's going to cause an impact. I feel that it's worth growing veg if you enjoy it, but if you don't think, I don't think you save enough money for it to be worth it if you don't enjoy it. Sean, I think that yes. I mean, if you are someone who eats organic all the time, then I think it'd be worth, growing your own, and you could probably offset some of the cost. But I mean, we couldn't afford to eat organic, so we'd buy. When it comes to food, we're pretty much buying the cheapest available option out there. So, but the type of stuff that we're growing is quite, because we're growing a lot of vegetables that we'd normally, traditionally associate with Bangladesh and associated with the Indian subcontinent. A lot of that vegetable is really expensive over here. So because it's really expensive over here, it makes a lot of sense, and it makes it worthwhile growing it over here as well. And plus we're getting it without all that tampering with all the chemicals and all the other stuff that's going into it. Yeah, so it really does make a difference. A home gardening, great time, absolutely. Paul Mitchell, how are you doing? Thank you very much for coming in. So like you and your kids, I learned gardening at my dad's knee and love of it. It stayed with me. Nothing better than harvesting your, absolutely. We harvested our last tub of carrot. Was it our last tub? Maybe our last tub of carrots today. So we harvested a bucket load of carrots today. One was about that big. I don't think it was supposed to be that big, and I don't know what it's going to taste like, because it actually sent out a flower spike last year before winter came in. So, but the others are absolutely beautiful carrots. Really small Chanteray carrots, the short, stubby ones, pointy ones. So they were quite nice. Yeah, we got quite a few of those today. With everything going up in cost, I'm doing a series of uploads on low-cost gardening, mate. Gonna put one up tonight showing some reuse and reclaim options. See that we're all over. Yeah, I know that. I know that feeling. See, I was just thinking. I was actually thinking at the bottom of the garden today. I was looking up at the garden and thinking, someone like Monty Don couldn't do what we've done on the budget that we've done it on. yeah, no, someone like that would absolutely struggle doing what we're doing, um, on the budget that we've done it on. So most of the stuff that we do, or we grow on, if is the soil's all homemade, so the compost is all homemade. The containers or whatever we can find, our plant pots are, like pots of pot noodle, um, mushroom trays, these kind of things, stuff that we can find in, on the recycle bins. They're coming home to us. So I'm the streets weirdo that goes around looking in people's bins on bin day. You're going to save money. You need to grow a lot and be prepared for many hours of food prep, preserving, etc. If you don't enjoy that side, yeah, that's the side that I don't like. See, I love growing. I love the growing process. I'm not that into harvesting unless it's, but the one that I like harvesting is potatoes, and I like harvesting potatoes, especially with my kids, because it's just a load of fun just harvesting potatoes with kids. But apart from that, I'm not really that into harvesting. Um, when it comes to harvesting, I've been that, yeah, I'm really bad at harvesting. So if my mum or my wife doesn't go out and pick the stuff, it won't get picked, because I like the growing and I like the watching, taking care of the plant and getting it to the growing stage, the harvest stage. But I'm not good at, it's just one of the things that I'm not good at with most things, is I'm not good at finishing, crossing the line with the finishing with a lot of stuff. So I do all the prep work, do all the getting stuff ready, and just when it's ready to enjoy, that's the bit that I fail at. Has anyone tried peat-free compost from Tesco? Seems a reasonable price. I don't know. I don't, has anyone else tried it? I've not tried it. Price of food is indeed going up, worth planting our own. Yeah, space is a big problem. See, that's the thing that we want. I'm still dreaming of that farm. Baltic Homesteaders message retracted. I'm not sure what was there. So Ivan, I'm gonna scatter some chicken pellets on my beds in a few weeks before I. Yeah, but when you splatter chicken pellets, just try and avoid the rains. Because a lot of it gets washed out. Nitrogen is one of those things that gets washed out quite quickly. Just popping in to say hello. Are you guys okay over there at the moment? I saw your video about the situation. The little formal look. Forward to the video, mate. Learn a lot from you. I didn't get that. Sorry, Tony, I didn't understand that. WTF, Mike. How are you doing, mate? Good to see you. Very good to see you. Hope everything's good with you. That's a real farmer, that. Proper big farm. Yeah. I'm still eating carrots out of garden too. This is my first year keeping carrots in the garden over winter. See, we always keep carrots and potatoes in some pots over winter. January, February harvested. I think February was my last pot of potatoes, but we always keep some veg like that, some root veg in the soil over winter, and it's a lot easier to do when they're in buckets. Yeah. Budget gardening really gets your mind active. We'll be harvesting mole hilltops. Oh, there you go. You were talking about molehills last time. That's one that I need to be doing. I need to find some molehills. I don't know where I'm going to find a molehill. I'm with you on harvesting. Yeah, I'm bad at harvesting. If we didn't harvest from our farm, I'm going to do an update tomorrow. Update about food stores this weekend. I enjoy the cooking. Our garage is more like when you're doing your potatoes. So I've got a potato video coming out tomorrow. I did a couple of buckets of potatoes in January. They were starting to show, so I've just topped them up with compost. And then I did another couple of buckets of potatoes last week when I filmed tomorrow's video. And then if I get time tomorrow, then I'll do probably I'll finish off all my first earlies. If not tomorrow, then next weekend I'll finish off all my first earlies, second earlies, and then towards the end of the month, last week of March, first week of April, then I'll do my main crop. But they'll go straight into my wood chip. It's just about time for me, really, because with the way the wood chip beds work, is you can get your main crop in there quite early, and it doesn't really matter because the wood chips drain a lot better and they're a lot more. They're a bit warmer than the soil is. Coastal Gardens New NW, how are you doing? Thank you very much for putting it in. NW, what does that stand for? We're okay. How's your brother feeling about it all? See, I spoke to him. I mean, the bigger concern, because Latvia's NATO, he's not that worried about it. But I mean, one of the sad things about in Ukraine is there is quite a big neo-Nazi movement over there, and the same in some of the other little Eastern European countries. There's quite a few active neo-Nazi groups. And my bigger concern that I was sort of talking to him about was if things go backwards, people flip on people that look different really quickly. So we're just making sure that there's a backup plan. If he needs to leave there and get back over here, then he can do really easy. I mean, yeah. So I mean, worst comes to worst, my house. He's welcome to always come straight into our house. But yeah, I mean that's the bigger concern that we've got. I don't think anyone's going to try and invade any of the NATO countries. If they did, then it's just World War III, and we're not safe anywhere then. Yeah. So that's the real thing. It's the rise of that neo-Nazi contingent. There you go, good dog. Azov, yes, those ones. It's not just them though. There's at least, I mean, they're the ones that are integrated into the Ukrainian army, or they control the Ukrainian National Guard. But there's quite a few other little regiments, a few little militia. Well, I say little, but they're like complete battalions. So there's quite a few out there. So my potato devastated by wireworm. Will not bother. See, Derek, mustard. Do you know if you grow mustard in those beds, grow a lot of mustard cover crops. They're good for controlling wireworm. You keep the potato tubs under cover till spring. I usually start mine in mid-March. Yeah, so I've got mine in my greenhouse. So I've got the ones that I planted in January. They're in my greenhouse. The ones that I planted last week, they're in my greenhouse. The ones I'll plant tomorrow, if I've got space, some will go in my greenhouse, and I'll just put a board or something across the top of them, and I'll just put plant pots and stuff on top of them. And if I don't have space, I'll just leave them out. But I'll leave them up nearby the house so they get the heat off the walls and stuff. North Wales. There we go. What was Tony just saying? Where'd you get your wood chip from, mate? Is it just dropped off at? See, we used to get, Tony. That's a $1 million question at the minute, because I haven't had delivery of wood chips for over a year and a half, and I'm getting a bit worried because I just finished my wood chip pile off today. So whatever wood chips I had left, I just scraped the last lot of that up, and I just prepared my wood chip potato pile. We've been struggling to get wood chips for a year and a half now. I don't know where all the tree surgeons have disappeared or why they won't deliver to me. But there was one guy who used to, without fail, I'd be able to ring him up one week, and the week after he'd just drop stuff off. But right now, I don't know where everyone is. I've really struggled to get wood chip. So, oh yeah. So Sean, so Tales from the Kitchen Garden, Marcus Waring, the famous MasterChef chef. He's bought this amazing small holding, absolutely beautiful, absolutely amazing place. It's the place of dreams, honestly. It's got a huge pond. The pond's bigger than my garden. So it's got this huge pond that you can swim in. You've got and he did an episode a few days ago where he got ducks onto that pond. He's got chickens. He's got cows. He's got sheep. What else has he got? He's got ducks. And he's got this lovely veg garden. And again, his veg garden's bigger than my whole garden, top to bottom, including the house. But absolutely wonderful, wonderful place. Amazing house. It's just it is just a dream. So we went down there, and we filmed for this episode that's coming out on Wednesday. They've asked me to go down and talk about growing spices and stuff. So you'll be able to, I'm not going to spoil it. So you'll be able to see what we're going to be doing, and what we're going to be growing down there. But absolutely, the experience was brilliant. And the good thing about this is, like I was comparing it to Gardener's World earlier, is when we did the Gardener's World thing, they put it in and they put it in as a viewer's, a home video sent in. Whereas actually they'd asked us to help them out and go on because they like what we do, and they wanted to do something different that not everyone, the type of vegetables that people don't normally grow, and they wanted to showcase that, and then they stuck it in as a viewer's video, which I was quite upset about, actually, because the way it was, the way we did it and the way it was portrayed was a completely different. Yeah, it was completely different. But I mean, we've been invited down. They've treated us like, they've treated us like people who are actual, on a level. So they're not talking down to us like they did with Gardener's World, and just sort of they've taken us in and said, all right, this guy's an expert on this thing, come in and show us how to do this thing. And the fact that they've done that and they've given us that level of respect, you can't ask for more, man. That's what it's about. When they're sharing that kind of respect and they're sharing that kind of love for growing as well, absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And he's such a nice bloke as well. He's just a genuinely nice bloke. Yeah. First year I've not done spuds, waiting on 1 ton of compost to get all those buckets filled. Are you gonna? So you're not gonna do any first year? First year we've not. Oh, okay. Now I get your comment. You are going to be doing spuds, but just not yet. See, yeah, good dog. That's exactly what. And they're doing a completely 180 on refugees and that kind of thing. That's a problem. That is a real problem. I'm good. Been busy potting on and starting. Tony, Simplified Gardening. Tony's here. How are you doing, mate? Thank you very much for coming in. I don't know. Are we back to notifications? Playing silly beggars again. I grew mustard, but it didn't produce any bottles. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what that means. Let's hope this warmongering stops and a sense of and sense prevails. Absolutely. I mean, as soon as we don't need it, and especially with the threat of it becoming nuclear as well. But yeah, it's been very wet. It's been very wet here, but I've got my free stuff. Hey, Ivan, what do you mean free stuff? I like free stuff. Noor Ali Walaikum Assalam wa rahmatullah, joining us from New York. Hope everything's good with you. I thought after the storms they'd be everywhere, but we hardly had them. But what's Tony talking about? What would be everywhere? Okay, I planted some mustard and we'll give it a go this year, but only a small patch. See, I stick a lot of mustard in as a cover crop. I do like it because it's quite hardy over winter, so I do like it for that. Really looking forward to your TV episode. I'm well excited because I haven't seen it. I don't know what I like. But watching the way they've done all this series so far, I think it's been really well made. They're bringing people in and they're giving them a level of respect and a level of courtesy, and yeah, I think it's really good. I'm shocked the BBC were misleading. Exactly. I mean, yeah, yeah. Um, I'm well, that 5 minute 40-second video took 2 days to plan, a whole day to film, and 13 hours of footage. Yeah, see, it's a different style for me, Tony. I wasn't really, I watched it and I was thinking, hey, that's a complete 180 on your normal style. But it seems it's nice that you mixed it up a little bit. So,
Avada
where is Graham Arnold in? Graham, how are you doing? Hope everything's good with you. I think it's been a while since we've seen you in. Hope everything's good. Hope everything's good. Did the chili seeds up? Oh yeah, the chili seeds turned up. I've got them in the propagator. Yeah. Thank you very much. Really, thank you very much for that. So you sent me through some Thunder Mountain Longhorn, so I can try and rival your Whopper from last year. Wood. Tony's talking about wood chips. Yeah, I thought there'd be loads after the storms as well, but yeah, for some reason it's just really hard. It's like gold dust at the minute. But yeah, those I'm looking forward to growing them. So let's see. They're in the propagator. So any day now we should get some little sprouts from them. And yeah, I'm looking forward to having a go on your magic seeds. What's the program? So it's called Tales from a Kitchen Garden. So in the title of tonight's live, so that's what it's called, Tales from a Kitchen Garden. If you Google Marcus Waring and Tales from a Kitchen Garden, you'll see the series and the series so far. I've watched every episode, and it's a really nice episode. It's something different. It's something a bit fresh. I mean, Gardener's World. I like Gardener's World, but it's the same thing over and over and over and over again. Lots of posh rich people talking about lots of posh rich people gardening. But this is all right. This guy's a rich guy, but he's starting out from scratch, and he's starting out. He's setting everything up from scratch. So he's doing a lot of work that is at a beginner level. So it's quite good. What is so it's called Tales from a Kitchen Garden. Gotta try new yeah, absolutely. What's the show called that you're on? So it's called I don't know, Tony. You two seem. I should have kept him on. You two could have had your wizarding match. It's called Tales from a Kitchen Garden with Marcus Waring. Ukrainian National Guard official Twitter account showed soldiers. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. Absolutely, I saw that video. Free is best. I can get around 130 bricks, a few slabs, and got. Oh, that's awesome. See, I want some bricks. I'm on the lookout for breeze blocks at the minute, so I can start work on my man cave. The old chicken house is finally down. So now that the old chicken house is down, I can finally get on with building my little man cave and getting myself fortified in there. I even had a thought of maybe, it might be a good time to build an Anderson shelter. Yeah. Well done. So yeah, Tony, congratulations, 300,000 subscribers, absolutely amazing. Graham, it's going very good. I'm glad. It's been a while since you've been in. I'm glad you came in. I hope everything's going well with you. I hope life's treating you well. Yeah. So I'm glad to see you actually. I've lots. Gardener's World have lost the plot, and a lot of people don't rate them anyway. Yeah. Yeah. It's lots of rich people doing rich people gardening, and yeah. Did anyone see that program a few years ago? Not a few years ago. I think it was last year with Poppy Kocher. It was called The Great British Garden Revolution or something like that. The Great Garden Revolution. Now, I think Poppy Kocher, absolutely fantastic. Really someone who's really clued on. Someone who's really relatable as well. Absolutely, really. A fantastic program, really well made. Yeah. So if anyone saw that, I mean, something like that, because one of the things that they did was they tried to keep that to everyday gardens and everyday people, and get those kind of people on, and work with those kind of people. So it was really good from that point of view. So if anyone saw that, or if anyone hasn't seen that, that's a series that's worth checking out. It's nice to see stately homes, but most people can't bring that. Yeah, absolutely. And all right, you go and see a massive, really inspiring garden, and no one's got a budget of a few £1,000 to just spend on a garden. Some people might have, but over 10 years, I don't think we've spent a few £1,000 in our garden. The expenditure that we had in 1 year was my greenhouse when I built that, and that was just for the plastic and some of the fence posts and some of the cement. And I think I spent about £450 to build that greenhouse. If I bought that greenhouse from a shop or something, I'd be paying close to £3,000. The size it is, and the way it's made. But I mean, you just need the time, and you can save a lot of money. But we buy seeds, we buy a couple of bags of compost maybe a year. This year completely homegrown. I mean, my mum's away at the minute, so I don't have to buy any compost. My mum, bless her, I mean, she's got this thing that she'll always say that unless I buy the compost, the seeds don't start as well. But what she don't realise is I play a little trick on her. We buy the bags of compost. I put the bags of compost in the greenhouse, sift my own compost, bring that into the house, and then we've been growing in that. So we're growing my own compost anyway. But she always says plants grow better when we buy the compost in. So I like winding her up. Or I like that. Yeah, it's funny. But this year, because she's away, I've not even bought any compost at all. We save most of our seeds, so but I do like buying seeds. I mean, there's one of those things that I do like doing is I do like buying seeds. If I see something different, then I like buying buying that. Or sometimes what I do is I'll see something in the shop, think, oh, I haven't seen that, let me buy that, and then I'll get home and realize, oh, I've got that already. So what we got? The guru was right. He did predict you'd be bigger than John Chola. Who's John Chola? So yeah, Sean, she won't be watching. She don't get an internet connection where she is. I think you can get more enjoyment out of building bits and creating things in your own garden. Yeah, absolutely. Um, when we built that greenhouse, everyone got involved. So my wife, my mum, even the little kids. I mean, Three was probably about 5 at the time, 4 or 5 at the time, and he was, passing me tools, picking my drill up, passing me my drill while I'm up a ladder. Um, yeah, so yeah, so it was a lot of fun. Uh, um, where are we going? So you're so funny talking about that. I see. Yeah, it's one of those little things with the compost. It's one of those little things that mum's got a way that she's got she does a lot of things that the way she's got a lot of knowledge, and she likes to do things the way she's done things, and buying compost is one of those things that she's done. And I make some really good compost. I do. I'll be honest with you. That's one thing that I love doing. I like playing with compost. I like experimenting with different types of compost, and we make some make some good compost. So it's better than the last year we bought. Was it last year or the year before we bought some shop bought compost, right? And my chilies just wouldn't spread their roots into it. It was just some nasty stuff, really compact, really thick, stodgy stuff. It just wouldn't drain at all. And my chilies just wouldn't spread their roots into it. So this is not when we started them off as seedlings, it's when we potted them up. So what I had to end up doing was I had to pull the chili plant out, take all that nasty compost off, and then fill them up with my own compost. And yeah, and then the plants grew on really well and did absolutely brilliant in the garden. Uh, so John Cole, I know what you mean. I used to love his channel. Do you know when he first started? What was it? Was it? He's changed his channel name a few times. But when he first started, I used to love his channel. Because yeah, some of the stuff that he was doing was really good. And then I think he went a bit funny. Do you know when he went full on juicer? He went into a full of juicer mode at one point, didn't he? And he went a bit funny and started going on about chemtrails and all that sort of stuff. And that's when I thought, right, okay, you just stay over there now. I love Gardener's World and My Family Gardeners too, because both show me loads of things to do properly. Really appreciate. Oh, thank you very much. I love these little compliments. You know that. For once, I'm ahead of where I should be. I feel way behind at the minute. Do you know what? I think a few years ago, my mum went away at the start of the year as well, and I was just way behind of where I should have been. And it's when she's not here that I realise how much she gets done and how much she does. There's loads of seeds that I'm still thinking I need to plant these seeds. I need to plant these seeds. I need to plant these seeds, and I'm thinking I need to plant these seeds and I need to make a video about it. But my mum would have just planted them, and I was looking at one video from last year, and my lettuces were this big. This time of year, this time of year, we were already harvesting lettuces, and I only planted lettuces today. So yeah, Tony, I just see that comment. See, mum does all the work. Yeah, she does. You just realize how much she does when she's not here. And I'm missing that. I'm really missing that. She's been gone, what, nearly 2 months, just under 2 months. I'm That's one of the things that I might end up doing. I might end up. I'm just trying to arrange a plane ticket at the minute because she's not having a good time over there. She needs to get back, and I need her back. Not just for the gardening, but I need her back. So she's not in a good place over there at the moment. So I need to get back. I needed to get back to this country. It's not good for her. So I might have to go to Bangladesh anytime. If I can get a ticket, I'm off tomorrow. But I need to go and bring her back. There's not a lot of detail I can go into on here, but it's not good. It's not good. John has lost his direction and isn't grounded anymore. That's the thing I love about you, mate. I'll be honest with you, mate. I've seen people the way I was talking to Dean about this about you about this. The way you, regardless of how big your channel is, the way you're still coming into smaller channels and you're willing to work with smaller channels and you're willing to offer people advice. That's why you love so much, mate. Yeah. Really hope build my old polytunnel. Yeah, I need to bring her home. I really do need to bring her home. So I'm just trying to get. The thing is, tickets are hard to come by. The earliest ticket I can get at the moment is on the 19th of March, and I need to go. I need to go straight away. So without breaking, without actually, I could have gone. I could have gone yesterday, but it was £1,900 for a one way ticket. And yeah, I need to go, but I can't afford that. But I need to go. So if I on the 19th I can get a ticket. If I can't get a ticket before then, that's the day I'm gone. Go get mom. I think. Yeah. Thanks everyone. That the only difference between me and anyone else is making videos is time. Growth is just time. No, I think you've got a lot of knowledge and a lot of care and a lot of skill, and you share it, mate. It's really well deserved. Yeah, it was just going to cost. So it's a bit more reasonable if I go on the 19th, but if I go on the 19th, she's not. I can't come back. I have to go for 10 days. So that means she's out there for another 10 days, and I don't want her out there for any minute longer than I can get her. But I'm looking for someone who's coming back from over there who can bring her with her. So it's one of those things. But that's got me a bit. Yeah, I'm gonna stop here, guys. Do check out the video on Wednesday. It's on BBC Two 6:30. If you're on if you're on the internet iPlayer, you'll be able to catch it live there. And like I say, it's the first time I'm seeing it. So yeah. But on that note, I'm gonna stop there. I need to stop. Okay. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah.